book coming out soonish. Am I right when I say it, Dave?
Yeah. Hopefully towards the end of the year. Yeah, in time for Christmas, definitely.
Where could we buy that from? Because I would love to buy it.
Yeah, I mean, it'll probably be social media will take sales through. Direct through onelovebooks.com, which will be my editor's website. He's released quite a few. He's a self-published guy, but he's done about 6 or 7 books. Really, really cool guy, cool books. So check that out. Also, we are in talks with a couple of distributors at the moment, so that's to be confirmed at this stage. But yeah,
awesome. So
very promising.
Might even get into some bookstores maybe as well, so people can actually go in the store.
Yeah, I mean that would be great. Just to see it in bookstores would look amazing, wouldn't it? Yeah, I mean, I know people like the Youth Club Archive have a bookstore in their pop-up shops and things like that. So exhibitions and events, we'd love to go there and chuck a load of books there and chat. It's all about chatting to people as well. That's what I like with the Rave Flyer stalls. Just networking and chatting away with people.
So that the youth club thing, are they only kind of like ravey based stuff, or do they cover other genres?
No, not at all. Yeah, they well, I think that the founder John Swinstead is an old raver, and used to do the house clubs and stuff like that. But they set up in the mid-90s actually, and it was initially, I think, photographers based, just professional photographers would submit their work. And it covered all subgenres, I think, going back to, the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, rockabilly, soul, everything.
Yeah, that's cool.
But obviously, like you said before, rave was such a huge thing. It has taken a lot. But yeah, they do everything. We got a shout out on BBC Radio recently, Phatmedia.
Oh, really?
Through those guys. So that was quite cool. Talking about the new Google project they did. So Google's hosting thousands of the Phatmedia scans of rave flyers. Yeah. And that's who I did a couple of galleries for. So similar to what you were talking about, Brad, what would I do in my own exhibition?
Yeah.
There's a little taster of it on those Google galleries I did. So
and you can send link to us for that, mate?
Yeah, totally, man. Yeah. So I did two galleries. One was iconic rave flyers with a write-up on each one. And they've added photos and videos where they could find them to go alongside.
Yeah.
And the other one was sort of my choice of rave flyers, ones that I've liked and had reason to put up. So, favourite artists and favourite events.
Yeah. With the book as well, I mean, this is just an idea, but when they go to Ministry and other clubs like that, they sell obviously T-shirts and things like that. Mm-hmm. What about actually approaching some clubs and saying, hey, could I have my book here and sell it? Because again, people do go into clubs. I used to just buy shit from random clubs all the time. I mean, that's just an idea. I mean, I just thought, maybe you could do that, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't get to clubs much, but it's definitely, I did go to a rain dance before, not last year, the one before, near the end of the year, and it was, there was quite a few merch stalls there. So yeah, it's definitely whether people were buying stuff. Like you said, I personally wouldn't think, I'm going to go out tonight, I'm going to buy a book, but people do. So yeah, it's just another way of getting out there. Definitely. Yeah.
I remember actually, even at the old hippie raves, and then also outside once, people around us like Universe and obviously Fantasia and Perception and things were doing parties around our area. There'd always be guys in the parking lot that were selling swag out the back of their cars. There was right. There was the one guy from our city in Swindon. His name was Barney. I can't remember his last name. I do know some people that's still in touch with Barney. He ran the clothing store actually again that Johnny Martin had mentioned in his little spiel he'd sent to you. And that store was called Free Spirit, and it was just rave clothes, your naff naff, your goy, all that kind of stuff. And he'd be at every party. Didn't matter if it was legal, illegal. Barney was there with his car selling swag, right? And it'd be, it'd be those old iconic T-shirts that, instead of embassy, it would be the embassy packet, but it'd say ecstasy, and then you know what I mean,
and all of that.
Yes, mate.
Fairly hip kid.
Yes, right.
Land Rover.
Yes, Land Rover. Yeah, it's a classic.
The drum and bass scene do that sort of thing with that sort of stuff.
Yeah. And again, I think some of that's quite collectible too. I've still got
actually. Yeah. I mean, even like the cheesier merch stuff, like we were saying about those rip-off labels, stuff, is actually collected now.
Absolutely. Right. I've still got upstairs. I think I posted a picture on Rave flyers, Rave memorabilia of my old Mau Mau t-shirt. I've still got one Mau Mau t-shirt, and I've also got Carl Cox. And again, I used to see him at the Eclipse quite a bit. Lots of other raves at the time, because obviously he was a big name even then. And he'd always wear his Apollo one, black Apollo thing with a big skull on it. Well, I managed to get one long sleeve, but it's a little logo. Well, I've still got that upstairs too, because again, a couple of those things, even I've moved a house, obviously, lots of times back then, and then leaving the country. Well, I'm not throwing that out, you know?
No, there's a huge market now. I think my mate Matt Teal, shout out to Matt, he kept all of his old gear from back then. You mentioned like Chippy and Matt, yeah, all the NAF stuff. He's got Paul Ransom, who actually did the printing. He did Spectrum PR printing press. And Steve Proctor. They've got an amazing collection of the old Acid t-shirts from '88.
Oh, really? Yeah, the Smileys.
Original Smiley. Yeah, when it was all still, peace and love style influence. Yeah, it's amazing. That stuff is it's so mid now.
And it's funny, actually, I can remember, like you mentioned De La Soul earlier. I remember when De La Soul's album came out, and it was the Daisy Age. And that came out, and Acid House was happening, so there was the whole Daisy Age from De La Soul, but then the Acid Smiley started turning up. You know what I mean? Yeah,
I mean, there was some crossover. You get De La Soul and some of the Rave flyers. Yeah. There was even one in Plymouth they did in 91, but especially in 88 when that was all coming out.
It was all that kind of hippie-esque-ish, kind of psychedelic-y, like I say, the true Daisy Age, mate.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was so influenced from the hippie scene, especially by 88. So I'll show you like another iconic flyer here.
The Shoom.
Which is the Shoom Heart. And this is the original one from 88.
Cool.
When they did it at Busby's. It's not the first Shoom flyer. That obviously started in December 87, which is rare as. I mean, I've seen the flyer, but I've never seen anyone own one. Maybe one person. But that Shoom Heart, designed by a really cool guy called Stephen Reid, and that is 4-color, glossy finish, nice thick card, and that's pretty much unheard of. Similar to the Spectrum, again, 4-color,
full glossy
finish, thick card. That's going to cost you thousands.
So that Spectrum there, it doesn't say Birmingham at the bottom; it's got Mondays, right?
No, so this is one of the original 88s. And you got the badge and the sticker that went on to become the badge.
Wow, that's cool.
Later on. So these are both 88 as well.
So cool.
So they made the badges by just putting the stickers over and coating it. So, but these, like Paul Ransom, who actually printed these flyers, because his dad had a printing press company, so he managed to get in with the Spectrum lot. That was his way in. I can get you these done.
Nice.
And I can get you them done cheap, because otherwise you just can't afford.
No way, that would have cost so much money.
For a Monday night, that probably cost £5 to get in. I mean,
it cost £5 to make the flyer.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like that new order record that costs more to make than the money I make.
Right, it's crazy.
So, and to die cut as well. Die cut that Shoom one. That must have cost.
Oh yeah, like I said, having worked in the print trade, I used to set up the die cuts on one of the old Heidelberg flatbeds, and
I've seen it done.
Right, it's a piece of plywood, and it's got metal formed with little bits of sponge to punch it out. Like that's that costs money.
Yeah. But I guess as you would know, especially as the printing process improved quite dramatically. By 89, you were seeing full-color glossy flyers.
For sure, right? And then again, we could go. I'm trying to dig one out right now. I was trying to do it while we were talking. Then you'd get them where they do, your folds in them and stuff. Like here, I got one of Pez's, actually, an Amnesia one somewhere right here.
Dave, would it be terrible to have them laminated? Would it be like I'm just asking because I know you want to conserve the best quality of these flyers, and I just wondered, is it a bad route to go down to?
It's good to bring that question up, Brad. Yeah, it's good you coming from slightly side of the flyer scene to ask those sort of questions, because it brings up a lot of debate, quite heated debate as well. Do I laminate my flyers? People will say, and I'd say 75% of people will say no, don't. Yeah, it's a solid no from me, purely because it deems it, in my eyes, deems it worthless, because it heat seals it, and you can't take it out again. It sticks to the paper, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You can't cut around the edge and just simply take the flyer out.
Mm-hmm.
That's gone now. That's then laminated. But if you don't want to sell it, if you don't want to have it as some sort of, if it's just for you, you can do what you want with it.
Yeah.
Really, it's entirely up to yourself.
I see.
Me personally, no, not at all. I think it's like a piece of art. You don't buy a Picasso and then laminate it. Really, you frame it well.
Yeah.
I mean, even that shoe I've got framed, and I've got some Westworld flyers up there framed. I'm thinking about taking them down now because over time they're going to fade.
Yeah, for sure, the sunlight. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, I've only got skylights above, so it's not direct, but
it's still enough.
Glass, right? It's still not. With the way flyers are going now, you've really got to look after them. So
yeah,
I'm going to get them, dare I say, reprinted, which is another day. When
I was going to say, yeah, that's a whole different subject right there.
Just for me. Just so I have my own copy
that you can frame and actually have out. Yeah.
So I'd only do it, and obviously, personally, that's not going to go anywhere else. It will just stay there, just to sort of go in place of it. But what I've got up here is something quite unique. I don't know if you can see.
Okay. Yeah.
You see that?
As well, 3D. Oh, the whole frame.
That's a stick of rock from 1987.
A stick of rock.
Oh my God.
And triangle. So this series of flyers they did called Westworld and Wet World and a few other. So that was sort of almost precursor to Acid House. So you can't reprint a stick of rock. So I don't know what to do with that one.
Yeah, well, don't eat it.
No, I thought I'd ask that question because some people are with any sort of memorabilia, right? There's the argument of should I laminate it?
It's a good question. I mean, there is a guy that laminates all his flyers. We call him the Laminator.
The Laminator.
And someone actually did laminate a Dreamscape 1 flyer, which obviously you guys know is one of the most sought after flyers and also one of the most printed flyers.
It's an iconic image, isn't it, that other people used as well.
Yeah, I've seen that one.
And it was really good to see just how people did think about laminated flyers. And it sold for about 70 odd quid, I think, if I remember right. So it goes to show not everyone has that opinion of me and Craig. Some people don't mind a laminated flyer. So
I think I got my Dreamscape 1 framed up right back there behind me by one of my Spectrums.
Yeah, and so we sourced this is where the original image was used for, 1984 Science Digest called Omega. It's just a photograph, creative photography. That's what they used to do these.
Yeah, so I've heard you mention the creative photography before. So again, you're obviously you're into photography. You do Photoshop. What would be the process to get that image before computers were around?
Mm-hmm. It's crazy. Like the guy who did it, we phoned up this guy called Michel Cherevkov. Sorry if I pronounce his name totally wrong, but that's photography.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So that's a mannequin's face cut out, long balls, lighting, grid lines, and some cut out.
How would he create the grid lines? I
can't remember. It's in his book. He's got a book. It's really cool. If you search his surname on my website, you can search for designer name, and you see a lot of the images that used a lot of the flyers that uses images. I can't remember if it's either it's probably something as simple as like yellow thread, yellow twine,
isn't that crazy?
Or lights. Maybe he's got some lights going across, but it may be as simple as he's just painted a grid.
Insane.
On the background and lit it really well. It's just about they were very creative photographers.
I've got that one somewhere.
And it's unbelievable because for so many years, like the Dreamscape and the Fantasias, we all thought they were made for that race.
I think that's another taking the same mannequin, same thing, right?
Same face, but really effective for a flyer.
Obsession, Fantasia, and Perception all kind of were rocking similar images, right?
It's similarity.
Sorry, Dave. I was just going to say, it kind of reminds me of like the Tron kind of film, like that sort of stuff. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So I think a lot of the promoters were involved in the same raves. You got back to Perception, then to Fantasia, then to Obsession, and probably had to say in the design. Even
this is another one. XL Recordings Vision, similar-ish kind of imagery, right? You know what I mean? like very.
Yeah, it's all about the grid work, isn't it? Leading yourself.
And again, Brad, it's funny you brought up Tron because it was around that time of that sort of movie. You know, there was Lawnmower Man movie, which was very kind of the whole VR thing. Yeah. You know, I think it was part of, you know, people were like, oh, this is cool imagery, man. You know, it was new, it was different, it was, you know.
Yeah.
It's sci-fi, but you say that, like, then you trace back a lot of these images and they go back to the 80s or the 70s.
Yeah, right.
Like, sci-fi, science fiction artists, fantasy artists, like, and then you've got the ones like, I guess, Boris Vallejo, which is really sought after sort of artwork now. So that's in these dream state flyers. See if I can find them. No, so I can't find them right now. No. Okay, so
I just pulled out another Pez classic too. Obviously, everyone's seen this one. I love this one.
Oh, that's iconic.
Iconic flyer right there. I love the on the back there, the no bullshit.
Yeah, that's on the dance dimension one as well.
Yeah.
If you look at the back of your big dance dimension, it should have that same little thing on the back.
Yeah, no bullshit.
I think the story of that is Pez was in some shop, or we saw a poster for like some health shop or medical shop near where he lives, and it was the babies.
Okay.
I think he blagged that and incorporated that in his first ever fly in '89, and then he's designed around it. And since you see that one, that's a reproduction. So he's then painstakingly re-airbrushed it himself.
Wow. It's amazing,
eh?
Yeah.
We've got like these ones, which are really cool. Blast Off.
Oh, actually, the one on the left, I can remember that one. The one on, it's B, your left, my right. The one with with the spaceship, that one I remember. With the little face.
Do you recognise the head?
Yes, the head one, I remember that. But I wouldn't.
Do you recognise who it is?
I know, I'd have no idea.
Tintin.
Is it Tintin? Okay, now you say it. Yeah, it stands out as Tintin for sure, right?
Inspired by it, but also, so there's a backstory of the whole thing. It's inspired by an exhibition of Tintin's artwork and a poster created. I spoke to the promoters for the book actually, and there's really wicked footage of all those events on YouTube. Like big illegal parties they did, but the setup, like the Sunrise, you know, they had full PA systems, like live PAs. Sorry, you can see people like Norman J. You know Norman J. dancing around at the front. It's hilarious. But the designer actually got raided. His place of business. He's worked for a big company at the time, and it got raided, and obviously it didn't go down too well. And that's what the police were doing. They were just taking action on anyone, even if they weren't really involved in putting on the event.
Really?
You could be, if you were just
associated,
a DJ or printer, like Paul Ransom, who printed the Spectrum flyers I was telling you about. His place of work got raided.
Wow.
You know, he's printing the flyers. He's not putting these parties on. So, it was, everyone was out to be got back then, I guess.
Yeah, they were trying to stomp down on it when they. I love some of these imagery too. Again, going sort of back to where they'd get these from, and I'm sure these came out of books. Maybe I'm not 100%, but the old Starlight ones where they start getting the chrome kind of looking.
Yeah. So that's a really famous Japanese artist.
Okay.
Who I can't pronounce his name. I'm not even going to try to. But if you go into Phatmedia and type Starlight, and you see the designer credit on there. And I guess that's what we're trying to do in the book. And thanks to Will and Rebecca's Facebook group, being able to like track down so many designers and promoters and credit as many flyers as we can that we're using. Obviously, we don't want to use people's work, and then even if they didn't get the image entirely legally,
it's still there. They've still created something afterwards, right?
Yeah, we'll credit the original source. We'll credit the new recreation. People who created it as much as we can. Yeah.
Being as a Japanese artist, how was he approached, or how did the Japanese artists get into like the British rave scene for designing their flyers?
Oh no, he has no idea.
It was just his image was stolen, almost like the Dreamscape one that came out of the magazine, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, these people have no idea. So if we go back to the Fantasia artworks and the Obsession and stuff like that, we tracked the guy down, Michel, and we phoned him up. Paris-based Russian artist. He didn't even know what a rave flyer was.
Right.
Really?
Yeah, my editor Al was on the phone for him for quite a while, and I think 90-minute chat. He said he was a really lovely guy. You know, he's getting on a bit now, and he's more bemused than anything.
Really?
So you do worry, some of them might be like, hang on, my image was used. You know, like the Dreamscape lady. That essentially was a model that adorned every raver's wallpaper in Britain, you know, and she would probably have no idea.
One question I do have: how did they make that Dreamscape one that you just heard up, Dave, with the woman's face with the grid lines? That's half on her face and like half her face and half the grid lines of the face.
Yeah, I can't remember how at the moment, but it is in a book that I've got. Okay. We'll probably try and put that snippet of information in our book as well. But it is out there if you know. But if people can wait, they'll find out in our book as well. I actually would say now, but I really can't remember, so I'll just be making it up.
Oh, okay. No, it's just amazing how they say how they've done it.
It is really cool because in the book there's a process, and they show you the different processes it goes through, like using mannequins and glass mannequin heads and stuff for some of the images. And it's all about the lighting and techniques in the dark room.
Yeah,
it's very cool.
Fantastic. Yeah. How with Phatmedia now and everything, where do you see it going in the next 5 years with the book, the website, the page, and everything involved with it?
Yeah, I mean, I probably wanted to take a step back once the book's done for a bit, because it's a bit time consuming and getting a lot of emails every day from people helping for this or people I've asked for help for. So it's a constant battle. Like Craig was asking how I juggle it with family and work life. It's tricky at the moment. So take a little step back, I think, at the end of the year, and then get Phatmedia, get that work on the website a lot more after that. Get all those 5,000 scans that are waiting to get uploaded, get all that up, get the new version of Phatmedia done by the web guy, and then try and get involved in more events, I think. So people doing festivals, exhibitions, that's the sort of thing I'd love to do. Yeah, I'd love to take on more presenting it, more getting out there and showing off the flyer collection, portraying it, talking about it, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean, going back to distributing your book and selling it in places, again, you could, like we said, you can go to festivals and have a stand there and sell Phatmedia stuff and then your book, and that's a good way to go, I think, as well, with the festivals. Hopefully it will kick back off and go well.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's one that did approach me. There's another, a girl that used to work for Dazed and Confused magazine is doing a little exhibition about the Sanctuary and Dreamscape. So she's asked me to help with maybe doing some talks there end of the year. So that could be quite cool. Having the Google galleries recently with the youth club people, that's got some press attention. Apparently they haven't contacted me yet, but I've been told I might be getting some press attention. So that's pretty exciting. So yeah, things like that, man, that would be the ideal. Ideally quit my work and become full-time what's the name?
Exhibitionist?
Curator, exhibitionist. Yeah, maybe that's the wrong word. Should we say curator?
There we go.
Curator, yeah.
And actually, so talking about work, obviously we haven't really talked about your work, but you said you do photography, you do Photoshop. But was the flyers, and when you got into it, was that an influence on your career to take that sort of choice, or were you already really involved with that more so even before you got into the flyers and collecting them?
Yeah, I collected the flyers, I guess, and I was always into art. So I think the flyers probably helped my love of art, definitely. I think a lot of people can say that, definitely. But then, like, my school did a week's course at the local art college, and you could choose a subject. So me and my mate chose photography and did pretty well in it. And then I realised school wasn't for me, and the school realised that as well. So sort of asked me to leave. And thank God I had done that week's course, because the art college took me in, and that was it from there, really. Yeah, just love photography and design, digital design.
Yeah, it's pretty cool that you're kind of, your career and your work, it was almost kind of like, side by side with your hobby of collecting fantastic imagery, right?
Yeah. Yeah, so I've got a job in a few jobs in photography studios around East London first of all, and then settled on, when I come back from Australia, went away for a few years, come back and stayed for 10 years at a place in central West London.
Yeah.
like little fashion catalogue, and eventually got my own clients to sort of set up on my own. So the last 3 years been working from home, doing my own sort of Photoshop retouching, and the photography's taken a back seat now because you just do where the work is, and the work's been Photoshop. So
nice.
Yeah, but it's very handy when doing like this sort of stuff as well. Knowing, yeah.
What's if you had any sort of DJs now, events, who would you be following now, DJ wise? Who do you listen to? Like, who do you like? Inspires you with the music nowadays?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good question. I'm not very good at keeping up to date with people. Some of my mates, my younger mates, do and help out. I went to a festival a couple of years ago. It nearly killed me. It was 5 days long.
Jesus.
That's 4 days too long for me. I got home, literally, I had a week of sleep after that, and I was so ill as well. It's like, I cannot handle the pace anymore. But it was good. And to see acts like Bicep, who were amazing.
Yeah, they're awesome, man. They done a little duo thing, didn't they, for Apple? I think it was. Right,
okay. And they did that awesome video, didn't they, that showed all the old rave venues, like going around, real nostalgic look on it. I can't remember the name of the track. Oh man,
that's gonna annoy me now.
You know the one I mean?
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Yeah,
it's been on an advert recently as well. I think a car advert. I like those sort of bands. I mean, I do like to listen to new house music, if you can call that house. God, let me think. I mean, I could go through my phone, my Spotify list, and read you out the names now, but you put me on the spot, I can't think. So yeah, but I still love old school. I don't listen to old school too much, but I'm more of a house person these days, I think.
Yeah,
definitely. But if I go out, it's normally to a mate's night who is putting on an old school rave. So nice. But I'm going to a couple of one-day festivals. Fingers crossed, if everything is okay by then. And it's sort of those sort of bicep-y bands. I wish I could just stop mentioning Bicep and think of some other names.
Oh man, yeah. I mean, I watched a thing the other day. I think we saw on Instagram. Richie Horton done the music for Prada's fashion walk.
Oh right.
And that was really, really good. How he made the music for that fashion walk. Yeah, it's really, really good. But yeah, I mean, house music it's just evolved so much over the years, isn't it, nowadays?
Yeah. I mean, I listen to like a few of the radio stations here, like Vision, and whenever I hear a good track, I'll just put Shazam and then whack it into my Spotify playlist. So I'm not brilliant, like I'm not a vinyl guy, but if I hear a track I like it, I'll put it in my playlist. That's about how I am, really. Let me have nice. Mason, have you heard of them?
Mason, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I could go through my Spotify list for you, but Peggy Goo, pretty good actually.
She plays some great sets too.
Yeah, Nina Kravitz is another one, and
very good actually. So and some of the like Freemasons, some of the old people are still going as well. Chemical Brothers keep releasing new stuff that is amazing, really. If you ask me, some of it.
Oh, for sure. I mean, again.
Right. Sort of reinventing themselves a little bit, aren't they, with some of their light shows to go with it?
Yeah, and again, I've followed those guys before they even. I've got some vinyl there when they were the Dust Brothers before they even changed their name to Chemical Brothers, right? And they've always been part of the scene, right? And they had their sound for a long time, but the fact that they're still making music after all this time is amazing. And to hear that they've changed their style a little bit and moving forward.
So less the big beat stuff. They've gone more acidy and stuff like that. And some of
it's a bit
newer stuff I heard.
It's a bit like Orbital as well. They're still doing some real good stuff nowadays.
So Underworld, although Underworld's just one guy now, isn't it?
I don't think Darren Emerson's involved with Underworld anymore, is he?
No.
Yeah. Because you recently bought a vinyl, didn't you, from Underworld?
I did just buy one of Underworld's newer vinyls, but again, for me, Orbital, Underworld, that sound and that whole era are just amazing. When I saw Orbital down in Exeter University,
All right.
And the sound system they had was just mind-blowing. I've seen them many a time, right? But this one, it was in just the gymnasium, right? But the the system they had and the way they record their stuff, I stood, they were up on a scaffold tower, up on the top with their little lights on their glasses like they do, right? And I stood as close as I could to being in the center, and they just had the sound just rotating around the sound system, just amazing. You know, and to be lucky enough to have seen them live back in the day, I kind of feel quite blessed, really, you know?
Yeah, that's awesome.
I have one question with the flyers actually as well, is that did certain flyers artwork define a certain genre or a time of that genre of music? So, you know, drum and bass, if you had a flyer for drum and bass, or old school rave or house, was there a specific type of flyer artwork that represented that genre, or even the area? Like, obviously Southwest had certain flyers for that area. I wondered if a certain artwork reflected a certain area around the UK.
No, without a doubt, you could spot a genre of a flyer by looking at the artwork. You could tell if that's acid house. You could tell if that's hardcore breakbeat. You could tell if that's early 90s house music, you know, where not rave, but actually just house. You could tell if it's drum and bass, or you could tell if it's jungle. So jungle was quite distinctive. It would be obviously maybe jungle scenes or a lot of sort of weaponry involved as well, you know. Pez really took off with his Jungle Fever artwork. Loads of die cut stuff for them. Jungle Fever, Jungle Fresh, Jungle Magic, lots of tigers, lots of lions, lots of sort of, there's a lot more bling involved. Like you've seen a lot of the examples of hardcore breakbeat stuff. So real fantasy art, the grids leading in, classic. You go before. The fantasy A5s would be the acid house of 89s. Before that, Smileys and the black and white images is 88s, I think as you went further and further, obviously computer-generated graphics came in a lot more. And to me, that took off. It sometimes didn't always work. Some of the flyers still remain good. There were some good companies doing flyer work like Vivid Visual and Adrenalin. But sometimes the computer graphic took away the sort of original artwork style, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But that's just the way it went. And then you went into drum and bass and it got more and more computerized, more and more sort of technological looking. Is that a word? Do you know what I mean? Yeah, a lot more futuristic.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
Especially in the late 90s, early noughties. Yeah.
So you
really could.
Sorry, I think we glitched here, Dave. Sorry.
No, I was going to say it, but like you said, with different regions, there's definitely a north-south divide in a lot of the designs. So you go up to Blackburn, and they were going off in '88, and I haven't got any of the original '88. It's so hard to get an '88 Blackburn flyer. They really keep hold of them, but their styles were quite different, and they were a lot more. They were again original art. So you've got some of these called Revenge. Have you heard of the Revenge raves?
No.
So they started off as illegal in warehouses, but they were real.
The Ravers return. That's fantastic.
Yeah, they would just break into the warehouse, real sort of rudimentary hardcore raves. This is actually a guy called Mr. Moon, David Stansfield, who I've got to know recently. Really cool designs, but I think there's very big differences in the northwest scene, especially, and then the southern M25 orbital raves.
So, but if you look at those flyers then from up north and down south, do you see a big difference in the lineup of DJs? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you would. Yeah, definitely. They'd have their own. You'd have like Welly, Gilly, Green Bins, all these sort of Mike Bolton, is it? All these sort of northern DJ like you'd never hear of down south.
No, right.
It's likewise as well.
So you wouldn't see like your Easy Groove or your Groove Rider or...
They were big names. So
you'd probably see those.
When they got a bit bigger, these events, when they got more legal maybe and had more money, you'd see one headline. So, I mean, Sasha would be up and down the country.
Yeah, Sasha was everywhere, wasn't he?
Yeah, but you'd see Groove Rider or you'd see Easy Groove, you'd say London DJs. But you wouldn't really see that as much Northwest DJ. I guess what we'd get Sasha. Who else would we have from... up north coming down south. Who was your local DJs that you would say were doing?
For me, down Swindon anyway, it was probably similar to you. Obviously, Sash, I was just going to hold up right here because I know a lot of people collect these too, but there's one of my old tickets from Lakota, right?
Yeah, good job.
And again, when Sasha came out, it was kind of like you said earlier, there was that change in people started sort of going from the full ravey hardcore to that sort of more housey kind of, you know, feel. I think it sort of, there was just that little change there as jungle really sort of started taking off. Some of us were kind of like, you get your happy hardcore, and a lot of us went to that. So, but yeah, no, it was for us, round by us, it was definitely the big name staples. Like I say, Groove Rider, Fabio, you'd see them at almost everything. Mickey Finn was on almost every flyer I've got from down there, you know what I mean? And then obviously DJ Rap, you'd have your Rap Pack. Slipmat was everywhere too, you know?
So who was your local DJs then, that you, aside from the big names? Would you, because like I say, up north was the ones I mentioned. If you were in Cambridge, you'd see like Stu Banks and people like that, Doug Osborne.
Yeah. So again, I could actually pull out.
You'd probably see.
I'd pull out one of the Ectos flyers. We had a couple. Cool Cut D was a really good DJ from around our area. He played some amazing sets. He was one of those old school kind of DJs where he never ever played the same set again kind of thing. He'd throw tunes in that were the same tunes, but you'd never get the same order. So yeah, Cool Cut D was a very good local one. There was another really good actual DJ, and I shouldn't say he never really made it big, but he's played in a lot of places. But I'll give a shout out to him right now, is Paul Ricketts for me. He was just one of the Brunel local DJs. He played some amazing sets back in the day too.
So yeah, just by looking at the flyers then for like the Blackburn, you could look at that flyer then, and then you would know that's a Blackburn flyer for sure. Then.
Yeah, I mean, you could tell the artwork and the DJs. I mean, DJs often was second. You didn't always look at the billing really back then, but if you look at this one, I mean, it never happened. It got cancelled.
Right.
Okay. You read the lineup on there. Can you see that?
Yeah. Big Daddy Kane.
EPMD, Big Daddy Kane, Frankie Bones, Public Enemy.
That's quite a mixture of fucking artists for a rave. Yeah, right?
I mean, that's very hip hop based.
Yes.
Whether I heard a rumor years ago Public Enemy got sent back at Heathrow Airport, but I don't think they actually were ever going to go. I can't imagine them being there, but I don't know. Might be wrong. The event didn't happen.
No.
But you'd have your house DJs. It all was mixed back then, wasn't it? Paul Oakenfold would play alongside Trevor Fun, Kid Bachelor, but a lot of these went on to be drum and bass DJs or house DJs.
That's a pretty famous one right there too, eh?
Yeah, so I've got that one with the VIP card.
Nice.
Oh, nice, man. Is that VIP card laminated?
Yeah, that's what happened.
But not by you, right?
Yeah.
Here, I got a couple of Swindon local ones right here. Actually, this I got this one. Yeah, no. Again, that whole biology imagery, it's iconic, right?
Yeah, I mean that one is actually Remembrance Dance. That was in reference to the Marchioness disaster that happened on the Thames.
Oh yeah.
There was a big party in.
Because I'm trying to think of the name of the guy that put on that party, because they were big names of the day too, weren't they? Who was it?
Well, biology.
Yeah, because
Jarvis Sandy.
Yeah, and it was their party on the boat when it happened, right?
But it wasn't their direct party, but they had friends on them. Was it 30 people died?
Yeah. I remember it very well, being on the news. Yeah.
Oh, it was a party where people passed away?
Yeah, it was and again, they tried saying it was because the people on the boat, it got sensationalized in the papers. They were trying to say because they were ravers, that it was their fault. They were all fucked up, but no, it wasn't. It was actually
it hit another.
A barge hit them, I believe. A big barge hit them, and the boat went down.
It was a terrible tragedy. It could have been avoided. Yeah. So that was in. I think they all held a bit of a minute silence at the rave or something. By all accounts I've read. Memory of them.
Yeah, because like you said, I think that affected quite a lot of people, obviously, you know, and again, at the time, the news and the political side of things tried using it against rave, you know what I mean?
Yeah, they've been trying that for years, haven't they, really, to be honest? So.
Here's another good one, Dave, too, the old telepathy. I love that one.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, they did some great great events actually, didn't they?
Yeah.
Telepathy. But I did hear some bad things about one of them.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it got a bit moody in one of them. But it's funny because one person's bad night is another person's great night.
Yeah. I love the the bifold. Again, I was going to talk about that earlier.
Yeah, so Chris went on to design a few of the telepathy flyers, didn't he, in the end? I don't think he did that one as such, but...
I got another nice bifolded one. I got a few of the bifolds, actually.
The bifolds are pretty like a magazine.
Well, it's like this tribal gathering, like this one here.
This one here, Genesis.
Okay, yeah.
I haven't got many Genesis flyers. They started in 88. This is 89.
Yeah.
Where were they based, Dave?
East London, Hackney.
Okay.
So that's Wayne Anthony, who does his own series of podcasts, actually, I'd recommend. Yeah. May have listened to one.
Yeah.
So they were kind of early boys in breaking into the warehouses, putting on these these illegal parties when they could, you had the West End boys that had access to clubs. They were a little bit more middle class. They had the money, the back in, so they had the clubs, whereas these boys were doing it for themselves, basically. Yeah, so they were just like Labyrinth for Genesis and Rave at the Cave.
Yeah,
they'd find a venue, sometimes illegal, sometimes not.
Oh, we had when I was younger, we throw like free parties, and we had a rave cave as well, man. But most of my friends, because I grew up in a rough area, in a broken area, it was all drum and bass sort of style, right? And I listened to house because of my dad, but it was all drum and bass, and we couldn't afford to, or we couldn't get to the clubs because the decent clubs that played the good music was like 20-30 minutes away. And you couldn't get like a bus there or a train at a certain time back. So we just used to host our own little raves in our local fields and stuff,
That's it, doing it yourself, isn't it?
Yeah, it's fun. It's part of what I grew up with anyway, for sure.
I want to show you this one, Dave. I'm sure you've probably got it, but I love this one. The Universe, the Tribal Gathering, where it's almost like a comic. Like me and Brad have showed this before. But, just again, the effort that went into it. And I know it's all kind of, a little bit of BS and stuff, but again, when you'd get this, you'd be like, wow, man, that's just like the amount of work they put into it and the thought, you know what I mean?
But isn't that Jamie Hewlett who did the design?
I'm not sure who did the design on this, no.
I'm pretty sure it's Jamie Hewlett who also did the Rave board game.
Okay.
And I think he went on to do the Gorillas artwork.
Oh, really? Eh?
Really?
Interesting.
Yeah. I hope I haven't got that wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's who did those. Universe were top notch, weren't they, on their photos?
Yeah, actually, I've met Rob. I'm trying to think of his last name. A friend of mine back home.
Rob Baker.
Yeah, there you go. A friend of mine was buddies with him. So he actually, when he first started re-releasing all the mix tapes onto CDs, he threw a little party in Bath, and I went down there and I met him and I bought a couple of the CDs.
Nice.
Yeah, I think I got the classic Sasha Universe one on a CD somewhere.
They did them, didn't they? Universe Reverse.
Yeah, he had all the DAT tapes, right? And he'd had them stored away, and then he just decided he was going to release a lot of them, which was pretty cool, to be fair. But yeah, I went to a lot of the Universe parties, mate. They were great parties in the time,
Yeah, some of the best by the sounds of it. Yeah, you're a lucky man. I mean, like I said, I was a little bit too young to be going then, unfortunately, but you can't help the year you're born, really.
No, like I said, it was just lucky that for me, the age I was and the area was, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a young gun, but still, I appreciate the stuff, right, in the scene that, back then as well.
The Eclipse for me, like right there is...
Yeah, the Eclipse, right, yeah.
Some of my favourite memories of being out and clubbing with that place. In fact, there was one weekend, because a lot of Swindon used to go up there. We did it two nights in a row. We'd gone for one night, I think, on the Friday, come home.
Yeah, did we do Friday and Saturday?
And then we drove back up to Coventry from Swindon, and it's like a 2-hour drive or something. You're putting some effort in to go to a party when you're willing to drive that far, and we did it regularly. You know what I mean?
That's commitment, but that's what people did back then. I mean, they would go all around the country just to find the raves.
Just to find the good parties,
legal or illegal. But I guess by 91, they started being a lot more licensed, granted, to combat the illegal rave scene. And you had all-night parties, didn't you? Like Weekend World.
Yeah.
Amnesia did the wedding.
Yeah, Amnesia was Coventry based too, right?
Coventry, yeah, they did a lot of different places, but I think Coventry was their main base.
Yeah, I think so.
They went down to Plymouth and did one, so we managed to get a taste of them down in Plymouth. Let me see. What was I trying to find? I've got the Eclipse flyers.
I've got a few with me. I got a lot of mine in frames right now. And again, some of mine in the frames, I've actually got the back showing, because it's funny, I've seen a few people frame them where they got the frames now where they show the front and the back so they can flip them around.
Yeah.
I love looking at the back of some of those Eclipse ones, even though the imagery on the front's amazing. I just like the lineups. You know what I mean? I love looking there and being like, oh man, you know, that's such a good lineup of DJs.
Yeah, you'd sit there and read the backs for ages sometimes. Yeah. I think that's why we've got to find a sort of balance in the book, because obviously the front is the important picture, but the backs need to be displayed as well.
100%. Like here's a nice Big Bad Head, again, another ESP Promotions one, but again, and this one, I don't know what size this would be in the UK. Is that an A4?
That's A3.
A3. And again, just the back, you know, no hype, accept the best, expect the best, remember New Year's Eve and again, you know.
This is one I picked up. This is one of my favourite new flyers I picked up the other day.
Oh, wow.
Which is in Blackburn, 1989 Perception. Nothing to do with the South Perception.
No.
Events. But just love that artwork.
Yeah, I love the artwork too.
That, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, the typography and everything. It's cool.
There's nothing on the back.
Wow.
Just Jam MC is the only one's written for the lineup. I put it on the Facebook group and load of people liked it, but no one normally gets someone saying, oh, I went to that, or that was good. So didn't get any of that. So I don't know whether it happened or not. I'd like to think it did. Such a cool flyer. So if anyone did go to that, get in touch with me. I'd love to hear about it because it'll be getting in the book, that one. So yeah, you said the Eclipse flyers, but unfortunately I can't find them now.
Yeah, like I said, most of mine are up in my frames right now. I think I got a couple down here still.
I've got one question for you, Dave, and this might be very difficult for you, but if you could pick one flyer that would be
your Desert Island disc,
your Desert Island one, which one would it be? I mean, I know you can't say you have an ultimate favourite. Probably you have. I don't know, but what would be the
tricky. One? By the time I was raving, flyers had moved on to a different style. So I think it would normally you'd say, "Oh, it's a flyer I went to, it's a rave I went to." But personally, I think my favourite flyers are before my era of raving. Very odd question.
Yeah.
Very odd question.
Like I said, I don't know it'd be difficult, but I thought I'd put it out there. And
I mean, the hedonism one, that's awesome. The Shoom one with the heart, awesome. It's going to be a top 5 now.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I thought,
We're looking at Shoom, Heart, Hedonism one, Spectrum original from Dave Little.
Yeah. Actually, I was going to...
But I think I'd have to look at one of my Plymouth flyers because Plymouth means so much to me just from growing up there. And they did some awesome flyers.
I'm just trying to find out.
This little number's pretty cool. Whether I take it on a desert island with me, I don't know.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah, that's pretty different.
And actually, the Prodigy as well, 91.
Nice.
Nice early gig for down in Plymouth for Prodigy.
Yeah. I got the...
so probably those. Let's see.
Just trying to pull some blue tack off of this one.
That one as well they did in 1990.
Nice.
It's like a Space Invaders game.
Yeah, right. It does look like Space Invaders logo.
It's K-Class.
Oh, K-Class.
Mm. Yeah, K-Class. Yeah.
I got the... going back to the Dave Little, obviously, again, same image, but on the A4, right?
Yeah, that looks nice condition, that one. My A4 is a little bit...
It's not bad. I was just actually trying to pick some blue tack off the back while we were talking. Still got a little lump in the corner there, look.
Yeah, glad you do that. But yeah, I recently picked up a couple of quite rare energy flyers, Karma Productions.
Yeah.
Tintin and Jeremy.
Okay, I've never seen that one before. That's pretty cool.
And a little one they did in Bristol at the Lakota. Well, the Moon Club, it was called first of all, wasn't it?
I didn't know that, I'll be honest with you. I went to Lakota a lot too. Because again, Bristol's not far from Swindon.
Colcott's here, Southampton. Yeah, nice, man.
I loved Lakota. That was a great club, man. I had so many good nights.
I went there once, but it was just for a house night a bit later on. So
that Sasha ticket stub I've got, that was Lakota. And
oh yeah, nice.
like I said, I can't even count how many times I went to that club. I love that place.
You know when they printed flyers, did they have obviously an A3 one and an A5 one of the same flyer? And if they did, would it be the more expensive one be the larger one, or would it be the smaller one, or the most sought after, depending on size?
Quite often you'd see an A2 or an A3 to accompany the standard flyer, purely for record shop window displays.
Yeah.
So you'd have all the ticket info along the bottom. It'd be the big design. For me, I mean, that's really collectible. I've got a poster display unit up in the corner of my... See it?
Okay, yeah, like you used to go in the stores.
Like
yeah, that's cool.
I collect the posters, but they're not as valuable as the actual flyers. I think mainly because they're harder to display.
Yeah,
harder to
that's what I was thinking. Yeah, I was thinking maybe because of that. Yeah.
Yeah, so you could get a flyer that's worth a couple £100 on eBay, of value, and the poster of it could sell for 20 to 50.
Okay, yeah.
So there's probably a lot less of the posters than there is the flyer, but I think people can't put them in folders so easy and sort of show your mates when they come out.
Yeah, I wonder if they buy the two like to accompany the flyer. Like, I've got the flyer. Now I want to buy the poster now, right? And then have a separate folder.
Yeah, I mean, I do.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it's like, I wonder if people did do that, So.
Yeah, some people do. But like I said, some people don't, just choose not to collect posters.
Yeah.
Some people collect just flyers of the nights they went to. Some will choose just a couple of promoters and try and get everyone, like Amnesia House or Eclipse.
Mm-hmm.
Any promoter of the Eclipse seems to be really popular, since lockdown especially. I mean, you could pick up a Eclipse flyer for £5 to £10. That's now maybe £50 to £70.
Wow, crazy!
Just the market has just surged in.
I love some of these. Sorry, Brad, didn't even cut you off. I love some of these ones too. Actually, these ones are folded in half, and I got doubles of both of these. But again, along with the flyers, you'd also get some that were like your merch flyers. Yeah, you know what I mean. And
are they a sought after thing?
The rarest flyers is a Phantasia merch flyer that everyone's trying to find.
That little guy too.
So the merch flyers, are they a sought after thing then? Are they the merch flyers?
Not, well, they printed loads of those. It's a good flyer. I think the guy called James Me. If you see on the back of those Phantasias, it should say "Design Me"
Let's have a look.
on the bottom right or somewhere.
Design Me, yeah, it does. Right on the very bottom, mate.
Yeah.
Right there,
Jimmy
right there at the very bottom. You won't be able to see it, but it does say "Design Me." Yeah.
So he put a lot of them together. I think he designed the face, the little man.
Yeah.
There's actually, see the face.
Yeah.
I've seen a full artwork. It's actually two people, like a boy and a girl with them faces and bodies, which is really cool. I've never seen it before.
I actually hooked up with a guy on the group there, the Rave Flyers memorabilia, James McGovern, I believe his name, and I bought one of his blotter arts. Right?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
I got that one. And again, some people might not like that he's doing that with images, but I had to get it, and then I also had to get. Just knocked my mic over. I had to get the bang-in tunes because again, anyone that went to Eclipse, right?
Yeah, that's Nods designed the bang-in tunes stuff.
Right, and again,
Dave Nods, as far as I'm aware. I've got this one off Wayne.
Yeah, that's cool. I saw he just did because I think James McGovern. Did that with Wayne.
He did about a 10, so I got number 9.
Nice.
But I wouldn't normally go for them. He did some really nice stuff, but
yeah.
That one. Yeah.
I think didn't Pez has just done one as well, a blotter art thing where he had a couple. He had the signed copy with Slipmat that he did for charity. They sold it off for charity or something.
I've got a few bits from Pez that's waiting at his house. So when I get to visit Pez again, hopefully I'll be able to pick some of that up.
Yeah, nice, man. Well, man, Dave, it's you've really blown my mind and this sort of stuff. I know I've seen Craig's stuff as well, but obviously the history that behind this stuff as well. Because I've seen
it looks like Craig's got a good collection there as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, just for the younger generation like myself, it's opened my eyes a lot on how much detail actually went into back in them days, to be honest.
Awesome.
It's very, very interesting indeed.
No, I'm glad to show it, man. It's good that people are taking such an interest in it now. It makes it worthwhile, really, because otherwise, what the hell are we doing for the last 20 years?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it seems to be kind of really fucking blowing up.
I'm actually, again, I'm amazed how many people have still kept it all. You know what I mean? Like you said, you go on that group and it's exploded.
Oh, there's another loft collection found. There's another.
Yeah, man, it's like never ending. Oh, I just dug out my box, and you'll see it spread out over the floor. You're like, oh my god, man! And it's it's not a small group of us. There's loads of us. Do you know what I mean? Right.
Yeah.
Like for me, when I was a kid, we did collect the flyers that we went to, like write the posters, if you want to call it, and stick them up around our bedroom, above our decks and stuff. But I think now not many people really do it now, which is a shame, really. But this sort of stuff,
we all used to back then, like wallpaper. But you don't think people are doing it so much now?
No, I don't think so. I don't see many people go on about it. I mean, when I was younger, we done it just because, oh mate, that was a sick night. Do you remember that night? And oh, that was a fucking cool night. And yeah, I don't think people do it now. But
times change. Maybe it's not fashionable to do that anymore.
Yeah.
We're not cool, you mean, Dave? We're not cool anymore?
No, cool in a different way, I guess.
Awesome, man.
Awesome.
Right on.
Right on, Dave. It's been fantastic to meet you and have you on our show today, and to sort of definitely educate and incite me on this history of flyers for sure. I
mean, I know you and me, Dave, we could go on for hours, but maybe we'll do another show when you get your book together, and we can have a chat and go through your book there, and do a bit of promoting and share that with everyone.
Bit of plugging, yeah.
Well, thanks so much for having me on, guys. It's been great to chat about it all. Brilliant.
Yeah, no, it's been a pleasure, Dave, and I'm sure we'll keep in touch. And like I said, we'll chat to you soon. Look forward to the book coming out, buddy.
All right, guys, take care.
Thanks for also, Dave, for being our first test on our mannequin there.
Cheers, Dave.
Thanks very much.
It's a pleasure meeting you, bro.
Nice one, man. Thanks so much again, Dave.
All right, guys, take care.
Yeah, take it easy, mate.